All right, we are live today. It is Friday. We're doing a special You vs. You show today on Friday and towards the end of June. And really excited about our guest today, all the way from Sweden. But before I get started, if you're watching this live or on the replay, definitely hashtag replay. Let us know that you're watching later on. This is posted on Facebook pages, YouTube pages, and eventually our Instagram. But this show is all about winning and conquering the battle, one of the biggest battles, and that's within yourself. And as the author of the book, You vs. You, the 12 Ways to Kick Your Own Ass and Win, I'm doing it every single day. I just got off the Peloton, took a quick shower, meditated today already, and it's not even noon here in Chicago. Always trying to conquer my day and conquer myself within myself, and I know that's a battle, I'm sure, with all of you. So that's why we have the You vs. You show, just to really help each and every one of you really strive to win the biggest battle of your life. Now, in my book, we have a brain, and a lot of the battle is going to be conscious, you know, the working out and doing the action and going after your dreams and goals. But the other part is the subconscious, okay, the inside of you that really reflects what comes out of you. So our guest speaker today is someone that I have the highest respect for. Like I said, she is living in Sweden now, but she's originally from Estonia, really a small place in Europe. And really excited for you all to hear Miriam's story today, because I've gotten the pleasure of knowing Miriam for the past couple of months, and she has just been an incredible person to A, get to know on a personal level, and then B, an incredible asset to our institute, the Inside Out Institute, and all the value that she is adding as a certified practitioner, a healing practitioner. So we're going to get into that too. So Miriam, thanks so much for being on the show today. And I'm just go ahead and start off by asking a little bit about your story. If you can just give us a little bit of background, who you are, and then we got some pretty awesome questions that we have lined up today. So we'll go ahead and start with you first. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me here today. So I'm Miriam, and I'm from a very small country in North Europe. It's called Estonia. We have about 1.3 million people, but I just recently moved to Sweden. So when I was a child, I also lived here. So I kind of like came back to my roots a little bit, and I've moved in different countries in the States for 2 years, also when I was a teenager. And so now I'm a mom of 2 girls. I'm an emotion code practitioner, and started this journey with Inside Out just recently, which has changed my life. So yeah, that's awesome. Where I'm coming from.
So some of the, you know, we all have addiction. So I want to get right into it. And I talk about this in you versus your routine. You know, we have, a lot of us have bad habits, you know, myself included. And I think, you know, I think the word addiction, a lot of times people think of like drugs and alcohol and, you know, the major stuff, right? But you had an addiction to something that I think we all can relate to, including myself, and that's entertainment. You know, there's a lot of entertainment here when you're trying to like build a business or, you know, do great things. There's also Netflix, right? And there's also HBO, and there's also all these Facebook and Instagram. So tell me about how you've been able to kind of go from maybe a bad habit there. Tell me a little bit about that, to creating new, good, healthy habits in your life based on that maybe addiction to entertainment in your past.
Yeah, well, after I graduated from university and got married, and I didn't really have like a kind of goal in my life. I didn't know what to do, and in a way I escaped from my life, and I went into like watching TV shows and movies, and I did the basic things that I needed to do, but I always like craved something. I craved like emotions. I craved something, but I wasn't living it myself. So I looked at it from some other place, and it kind of filled me in some kind of way. But at the same time, I started to get depressed. I felt that I was living under a fog, and my family and friends were saying that you're like kind of the light has gone out from you. You know, what's going on? And it was difficult for me because I didn't have a goal. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So nothing really motivated me to push myself to come out of that until I found the emotion code. So after I found this emotion code, the book, I read this book, and I was like, oh my God, it's so simple. Yeah, I am drawn to things that are simple. I like things that are and I don't have to like go against myself, you know, that I have to push and I don't want to, and it's difficult. So I like things that were simple, and this was something that drew me. It's like, wow, it's so simple and it's working, you know. And I found how this started to change me from the inside. and I was like, I found something which was interesting to do and to put my time into something else. And then I just didn't have time for that anymore. It was like, it was easy. Before it was so difficult. It was like I had to struggle and had to, it's like something was pulling me back all the time. But after I did the work on myself and freed this kind of things that were holding me in this energy also, I felt it was like, wow, I can move forward, and that was something that I believe that the emotion code helped me with very, very strongly. Yeah.
Well, I've seen that. I've known you for maybe under 2 months, and obviously, I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and you're in Sweden, so the time difference is pretty big. And what's impressed me about you, amongst many things, was the fact that our calls that we have in our private group in the Inside Out Institute are Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central, and Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central, which is, I think, 3:30 in the morning your time.
Yeah.
And you have children, right? How old are your children?
The older one is 5 and the younger one is 2.
So okay, so you're a mom and you have to get up while your family's sleeping, and you have to go to maybe a quiet place right in your house and watch this for an hour each. I mean, so you went from entertaining losing that light that people could even notice to being so on point and not making excuses. So how did you go from, is there anything specific, obviously the emotion code, but is there anything specifically that you could share that you've learned from the emotion code that you went from kind of way out here into this whole, like, I'm focused, I have clarity, I know what I want, and you're disciplined to go get that?
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed, which helped me a lot, was when I had my session with Emmanuel before even the Inside Out Institute happened. Then he released things from me like, I'm not good enough. This energy, I'm not good enough. And I believe that this was something very specific, which was holding me back to even try anything. So I had this energy about myself. My subconscious was always like saying signals out that no, I'm not good enough to try to even do anything. So that was a very specific thing that I have noticed. And then afterwards, the support, from you and from everybody in the Institute, this is something which I feel is like pushing me like from the back as well. And I'm surprised at myself as well, because I wasn't motivated for so many years, and now I'm just like, whoa, let's go,
Wow.
And it's something out of my explanation, kind of, I'm still a little bit like, is it really happening? And my husband, he's like, Miriam, because he sees it the most. He was always like, all these years, Miriam, come on, maybe you can try this and find something. And now he's just like, what's going on? He sees the difference in me so much, and he's so happy for that as well. So I mean,
oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Isn't that priceless though? Isn't that so cool that your spouse can see that in you?
It is.
That's pretty powerful. That's pretty. It's in any relationship too. It's like, I think sometimes people get in this rut. Like, I wish my spouse would do this, and I wish someone would do that in a relationship. I wish my business partner would do that. But it's amazing when we change the inside of us. And this is my next question. And have that self-awareness of the patterns that we have, going from some of those destructive, self-sabotaging patterns that maybe at that time we were feeling so sorry for ourselves that we didn't even realize, because we didn't have self-awareness. But then now, coming on the outside of it, if people don't know what the emotion code is, it really, in a nutshell, is releasing and healing from these emotional traumas that come to light through that self-awareness, and of course working with a certified practitioner. So what are your thoughts about that, going from some bad patterns to some new patterns from the inside? And if you want to be specific too, like even just give us some examples of maybe some bad patterns that you were in and how you made that shift.
Yeah. So I just, with the emotion code and all of this working with myself, I just recently realized a very big pattern in myself, which is from my childhood. When I was a child, I have like 3 sisters, and my father was away a lot when we were kids in some periods of my life. And I was kind of the one who always wanted to have my father's attention. And I felt he liked to go camping and things like that. And I also like to go camping, He liked to do things which are like more with boys, and I was like, oh, I like these things too. And I realized how I started to change myself as a child already in order to get his attention. I liked the same things that he liked, and now as a grown woman, I repeated the same pattern with my husband, and I was like, okay, what do you like? Oh, I'm going to be like this. What do you like? I'm going to be like that, and when I started to like awaken again, I started to think about myself. Okay, what is it I want, and this is something that you have to go deep inside. It's not, you cannot change it from the perspective of only your conscious side, because you think, okay, I should do that, and maybe you even do that, but then there might be like setbacks. But if you work deeper with the subconscious, it clears these negative things. Like I said with myself, the not being enough, this kind of energy, or feeling unworthy. And then that's why I was always like, I need this worth from somebody else to give it to me. I need you to tell me, okay, this is what you should be like in order to get that acknowledgement, to feel that I'm good enough. So now I've realized that no, and it's also like a new thing for me. But like, oh, what do I want? I'm not going to do like you want anymore. So in a marriage, it's also something new for both of us. And he's like, wow, really? I didn't know you were like this, So, and myself as well, learning to say what is important for me and what I want to know, what are my things that I need. So I believe that it's a lot to do with the inner person, with the subconscious part of you.
That's so powerful, and like such words of wisdom. I do want to just ask you this question: as a woman and also as a mom, do you have any advice for other women out there that are watching this, that are also, have children? And I mean, I think as a man, there's certain things that men just can't relate with women. I mean, the childbearing and the mothering and how close you are to your children. As a father, I have children, but it's just different with a woman. And I think some women might lose their identity because they're so giving and they're so loving and they're so nurturing. But at the same time, like when they're in their 30s and 40s or higher, they kind of have this, whoa, what the heck am I doing with my life? I just raised children for 18 years. And that might be like a nervous breakdown or something. Like they're like, what do I do with my life? So as a young mother and as a young woman, and already knowing this, how powerful has it been for you? And then also, what can you share with maybe women that are watching this and moms that might feel like they're stuck, even though it's not true, not really stuck, but they might feel stuck right now with that old kind of way of patterns or something like that, how they can shift that.
Well, I believe that the most important thing is to think of what are your needs. First, think what is it that you really desire, not what everybody wants you to be like or what you should be like as a good mother or as a good wife. No, think needs. What do you desire? What do you want in a relationship? What do you want in your economical state? Do you want to be financially free, maybe from your husband, to earn your own money? Is this something that you want? And then you need to communicate. You need to speak it out, and say it from your perspective. This is how I feel, not to judge or to expect something from others. Because if you start to expect too much, they don't know that, and it makes you like wait for other people to be the way you want them to be. And that's like, okay, that's not good at all. Wow. So first of all, just think of what are your needs and write them down. What do you need and what do you want for yourself? And then communicate that with your family, with your husband, with your partner, and say it to them. These are my needs, and try to, as often as possible, to speak and to say what you want and how you want things to shift if you don't like something, and always not in the mind where you're already stressed. Try to take a moment where you're calmed down. You have gone into yourself a little bit, because if you're stressed and it's all like so much, you start to judge and you start to say, okay, you did this wrong and you did that wrong, and then it comes out like a conflict, and that's not helpful. Because if you're in a conflict, then all the brain or the blood from your brain goes out, from the brain, and you're not thinking clear. So you're saying things that are not good for you afterwards. Like, oh, why should I say that? Because you're going into this stress mode, and all the blood goes away from your brain.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah. So you should be calm where you are, clear, and that's the way you should communicate in this state. and
Yeah.
say how you feel. Say it from this perspective. I feel that I need this, and I feel that this is something for me that I need, not to be like, oh, you should do this or that,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
it's so powerful. And I don't know how it is in Sweden, but in America, we have a lot of conflict happening right now in our country. And it's so easy to be in conflict on the inside when we see conflict all around us on the outside. It's our kind of that apathy of that natural human instinct. We're like, all right, well, I guess, so I want to piggyback off what you said. So let's put it in now the man's perspective, let's say. So let's say as a husband myself, should I go to my spouse even before she comes to me? Is it a good idea to be like, hey, what are your needs? Like, what would that do? Is that a good thing to do? Is that like being proactive and saying, look, before there is a conflict, even the husband can be like, hey, what are your needs? What can I do? What do you need? Do you need time alone? Do you need a weekend with your girlfriends? How can I better serve you? What would that do for a relationship if someone actually was proactive?
That would be so good, because most of us women, we need that time of attention. We need the time that, even if you just say like, what do you need? That's already like, wow, he paid attention to me. He's noticing me. And we as women, we see that our men are sometimes, they're so busy with their work. They're like, they focus on one thing at a time. And sometimes it's difficult maybe for them to look at like us women. We can do a lot of things at the same time,
Yes.
But if the husband and the partner comes to you and says, what do you need? We're like already open, like, oh my God, this was already what I needed. Just this moment that you asked from me, like, what do you need? And if there's more, of course we say, yes, of course, this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And that will be the perfect scenario. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Well, if you're watching this, I mean, tag a friend. Okay. This is a kind of interview where this could literally save marriages. Okay. This is really, really cool. And also it could save, it could save friendships, and even just increase friendships and relationships and boyfriends, girlfriends, and spouses and significant others, because men are, what's that book way back in the day? Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. It's like, you're so right about men, because as a man myself, like once I'm a man on a mission, you hear that phrase, man on a mission. It really is true. Like, I'm a one-track mind. When I put my mind to one thing, boom. But I have learned from experience that you can't neglect, obviously, your significant other. And you can't think like, well, I'm doing all this for you, right? A lot of men are like, well, what are you talking about? I'm doing all of this for you so that you can be home with the kids and you could just play with baby toys all day. I'm doing all this for you. So please just don't talk to me for 8 to 10 hours a day and do your thing, It's just not the way. So men really need to get some more self-awareness, I think, about what you are saying, because it's because women are easy. Women are easy. It can be, it feel like, oh, women are just so, wow, I can't understand them, but they're easy. They need attention. They need encouragement, and they're not just here to raise a family. They have dreams, they have goals, just like us. We're all the same level, we're all the same, human race is the same level, but we're just different. So I love what you're saying, because if we can come together, and that also is for the world, it's like with Black Lives Matter and stuff, it's like, if I'm talking to a Black person, it's like, okay, what do you need from me? And how can I better serve you? And then same with, what do you need from me? Instead of, well, we've been oppressed for 400 years and you did this. Well, it's like, I didn't do it. That was 400 years ago, but how can I be better to you now? Does that mean, so if we can be that together, I think that's so powerful. And that's how we're going to change from the inside out. So last couple questions here. Courage. I want to talk about courage. I feel like you have a lot of courage, and I feel like you might keep it inside of you, like the fears of the unknown, like you even said, and you're just like, yeah, sometimes I don't know if this is all gonna like kind of pan out, your dreams and goals. But what keeps you focused and also courageous every day, not knowing the future, but you're building a compelling vision for your future?
So what comes to my mind, like at first, is just my belief. My belief in God. That's something that I've had from when I was young, and my mom like always used to say, Miriam, it's always going to work out, no matter what. You're blessed, because it's always going to work out. And even like even when I didn't have my mission or my vision in life, I still had that like kind of inside of me. It's like this hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I believe that the potentiality of us humans is beyond what we can even imagine. So I have this belief in me, and now starting to see this happening in my own life, it's like every day it's building my courage all the time. Like, yeah, okay, now. And then when I get like, oh, I don't know, then I continue to do this step by step, like you're teaching like everybody here, and myself as well, that like I'm learning to be consistent with the steps and to do, and so this is something that the belief is something that gives me the courage, because I know I am not alone. I'm not alone spiritually, and I'm not alone also as a person, as a woman alone here, not trying to build something alone. So having the support system of this group of people around me is also something, because I see that the energy is like, woo, and I'm like, yeah, I'm on this plane. I'm here. I'm on this plane. We're going to take off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And really last question, then we'll, have people follow you on Instagram and Facebook, because obviously this interview is awesome. I wish I could interview you for a lot longer, and we definitely will in the future. But really the last thing is, how excited are you to go from your own transformation? But like looking back a year from now, it's not even about that anymore as much as how many lives in the past, and really from the next 6 months to 12 months that you're going to really impact. And you already are. I mean, you already are helping a lot of our institute people, but like, how does that make you feel every day? Is it a different energy? Are you sleeping less in a good way? Because you're just like, it's not even about you as much anymore. It's about like, oh my gosh, like I'm able to serve. I'm able to really take this information, this emotion codes, certifications, and body code, and able to like pour into others. How cool is that? Like, in your own words, like, how does that feel?
It's it like I said, it feels like the potential is much higher than you can even dream. It feels like I don't even know, like I haven't even thought about all the things that are going to happen, and I know that this is going to happen. It's this kind of feeling like this, that you're being pulled in a good way, and you're also like running as fast as you can at the same time, to be part of that. So I see myself like, and I have lit up. I'm like a light, coming out, and to be able to share that with other people, to be able to help, to actually see that somebody's looking up to me, and to hear that, yeah, Miriam, you have something to share, and to learn this myself and believe in myself in my core is also something that is exciting. It's like, where can I go now? I never would have thought of that even maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So the fast paced and the way it's happening is extraordinary. Totally.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, we're so glad that you're here. So glad to know you. And it's so cool for me to, during COVID, to never have met you, but to have meet you through, WhatsApp app and Zoom, and thank God for technology. And just be able to meet someone from another country, and to coach them, and to just be involved with each other in an institute that really is, all about energy healing and transformational leadership. I'm so touched and honored by your story. So I just want to thank you so much for your spirit, for your energy, because it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. So I really do value it. And where do we follow you on social media? If you could just give your handle on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's my name, like you can see here, Miriam Süldre, and on Instagram, it's also my name, one word, small letters, and without the dots on the U.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Miriam Süldre.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, Miriam, thank you so much for being on today. Thank you so much for the opportunity for me to interview you, and congratulations on everything that you're doing. Keep up the great work, because everyone is seeing it, and everyone appreciates all the work that you do, and you're making really wise choices. So congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, thank you so much. This week was awesome. Definitely check out some of the interviews a couple days ago. We're going to be interviewing some awesome people like Miriam next week as well. So thanks so much for joining us, and tag someone, tag a few people. This is an interview that definitely people that probably need to hear. and it's going to be great news, not bad news, like they see all over their social media. This is good news. So this is really valuable information. So tag 2 people as you see this, and let them know they should definitely check out this interview and hear Miriam's story. So thanks so much for watching, everybody.